Hey gamers! I'm going to do a different style of video that I have never done before. Today, we are going to be talking about Amy Rose and why her as a character is misunderstood, between the fandom and outside of it. As y'all know, Amy is my favorite Sonic character of all time, and there are many reasons as to why that is. I'll get into that later on in the video, but meanwhile, sit back, relax, and enjoy as we dive into one of Sonic's most controversial characters. Why is Amy controversial? You may be wondering why I think Miss Rose is controversial. Well, ever since her very first appearance, people have always thought of her as this girl who is only obsessed with Sonic. Yes, she quite literally is, but there is more to her that meets the eye.
Alright, looking back at that recording, I realized that was a very bad way to introduce things. I don't know why I put that into the script. I was trying to say that yes, Amy is a fangirl, and in a way she does still have this quality where she is obsessed with Sonic, but like I said, that isn't her whole character. So, I agree, I could have worded that way better, and I'm extremely sorry for putting that in the script. Because if I want to make a video about this, I have to be sincere and delicate as possible. Okay, thank y'all.
Her classic self plays around with fortune telling and uses tarot cards to predict the future. In Sonic Origins CD opening, you see Amy playing around with her tarot cards, which in turn predict the events of the game. Amy meets up with Sonic in Sonic CD and follows him around a bit. She then gets kidnapped by Metal Sonic, and Sonic spends the rest of the game saving her. Why does he do this though? Does he do it to get some form of compensation, or does he just do it out of the kindness of his heart? Well, with Sonic, it's the latter. Ever since Sonic CD, Sonic and Amy are known to be very close friends, and possibly much more than that, but we will get to their relationship status later on. Ever since CD, Amy's character has changed a lot, and that is people's main issue with her. She's not consistent, and because of that, it is hard to love her character. Despite all of this, I love her, and for me, her strengths outweigh her faults. Amy throughout the years. Amy didn't really get character development until Sonic Adventure. In her opening monologue, she says that she is bored of the same routine and misses the good old days where she was hanging out with Sonic. Things get interesting where she meets a bird who has lost her family. Here we get to see the motherly side of Amy, where she spends the rest of her story and adventure returning the birds safely to their family. I love Adventure Amy because she is fun, sassy, and most of all, compassionate. She doesn't take shit from no one, and at the end of the day, grows from this experience. Unfortunately, the games afterward forget about this character arc and turns her into this obsessive girl who only thinks about Sonic. Examples of this include Sonic Battle and Sonic Rush. I guess it's a bit understandable because Amy wasn't the main focus, but they completely botched her character. People often tell me that their least favorite portrayal of Amy is in Heroes, and I can see where they are coming from. Amy's drive is purely because of Sonic, but she wants to help her friends out as well. Amy just wants to see her friends happy, and luckily, that is the thing that is consistent about her character. Heading into the 4Kids era, we see Adventure Amy come back. When Silver is about to kill Sonic, she stops him and makes Silver rethink about his decision. She also does the same thing with Shadow in Adventure 2. I've quite literally had people say to me that literally anyone could have convinced Shadow not to go out with his revenge boy in Adventure 2, but let's think about that for a sec. Our core cast was busy and did not have the time to comfort Shadow. Amy was a side character this game, and our purpose was to tag along and give our heroes encouragement. Still, to this day, I could not see anyone other than Amy confronting Shadow in the moment. It only could have been her because she reminded Shadow of Maria, a character who was very compassionate like Amy. So yeah, that's my argument as to why she was the only one who could have confronted Shadow. If Jeff Fowler is wanting to do the SC2 plot in movie 3, I just really hope that she will be there for that. It really sucks seeing her replaced by Chris in Sonic X. I'll just erase that from my memory. Amy shows compassion in the later titles like Unleashed and Black Knight. She shows concern that Sonic is a werehog, and in Black Knight, she wants to help Sonic on his adventure. Yes, it is an alternate version of her, but still proves my point. Mid-2000s Amy proved to be a really compassionate and caring character, and that's what drew me to her in the first place. 2010s Amy. 2010s Amy has had it extremely rough. Once again, Sega changed her character into this bossy girl who was only obsessed with Sonic. As an Amy fan, it was frustrating to see this change, but luckily Sega fixed this with her Boom incarnation. Boom Amy. Boom Amy is an alternate version of Amy that is more of a fierce leader than her modern counterparts. In this incarnation, she is sassier and her crush on Sonic is very minimal. She loves girly things like cooking and painting and is not afraid to call out the members on her team. Like modern Amy, she is very compassionate as well and will do anything to help out anyone, even if it's her sworn enemy. I really do like Boom Amy, but there are times which she can be a little obnoxious and quite rude. I think she plays off Boom Sonic really well, and I think they make a really adorable pair. I'll show you some of my favorite scenes between the two.
I say we crash through the window.
I say we dress up like pizza delivery guys.
My idea has pizzazz.
My idea has pizza.
Pizzazz!
Pizza!
Pizzazz!
Pizza!
Hey, could you strangers hold this door open while I go?
Not now! Pizzazz!
Pizza! Meteors are shooting stars. We shouldn't be running. We should be making wishes. I wish for a pony.
And I wish you'd take cover.
How come your wish came true?
Coming in for a hard landing, Tails. You got me covered?
Roger.
Who's Roger? He's talking to me. Thanks, buddy.
It all comes down to this one penalty kick. Can the young woman break the glass ceiling and prove once and for all that a female can be just as good an athlete as a male?
You know, Amy, anytime someone calls attention to the breaking of gender roles, it ultimately undermines the concept of gender equality by implying that this is an exception and not the status quo. What? Just because I'm a meathead doesn't mean I'm not a feminist.
Awesome role models. Go away, Amy. I'm not in the mood. Eggman!
Guys, wait for me!
I was just searching for more of that fan fiction of yours. Ooh, son Amy. Spicy.
Yeah, I don't really care for that, but it seems to be obligatory in the genre.
Since this is an alternate version of Amy, we really don't see her too often. Boom ended in 2017, so we don't see her anymore. Amy today. Once again, Amy's character has changed, but this time she's more laid back and takes on the role as a full leader. She not only does this in Sonic Forces, but the IDW comics as well. She's leading the resistance while Sonic is away. Amy seems to have her shit together in the IDW comics, and I love that about her. She was spectacular in the Zombot arc, and I'll never forget my first read through of that. As of now, we don't really know what Sega is going to do with Amy. It is said that she will play a big part in Frontiers, so I'm very excited to see that. Overall, I'm very excited to see Amy's future developments, and I think this time Sega has a clear vision of her character, and hopefully she will go back to being loved. Amy is certainly not underrated, but overhated by the fandom. I swear, this girl gets so much shit on Twitter. It's sad, really. It's a shame that the main female of the series gets so overlooked. I really wish Sega would treat her better. I'm very passionate about her because she was one of the first characters I ever fell in love with, and I will defend her anytime, any day. She means a lot to me, and means a lot to other people as well. I want to bring in a very special someone to say their thoughts about Amy. So without further ado, welcome my boyfriend, Sean.
So, Amy Rose. I'm not gonna lie, when I first became a Sonic fan, I used to really hate Amy because, I first became a fan around the time that Sonic Generations came out, so I was a pretty small young lad at the time. And basically, my first couple experiences with the character of Amy were kind of because the first few games I ever played were, of course, Generations, Heroes, and Adventure, which were, I guess, the way that, especially in Heroes, the way that Amy's portrayed is a little, kind of on the obsessive side. And to me, that was kind of her, defining characteristic. I couldn't see any other side of her just because of how overbearing her obsession with wanting to marry Sonic and all that stuff was to me. But, as I grew up, I kind of started to realize that, there's a lot more to her than that. Thinking about it now, her first appearance in the series, Sonic CD. No shit, Amy's gonna be so in love with Sonic because he saved her. He saved her life in that game. And so, you know what? I can't even blame her for that. And also, I've come to realize there's a lot more to her than just that. Like, she's just a very kind-hearted person. You see that with the flickies, the little flicky that she has with her in Sonic Adventure. And also, I really like her portrayal. I don't care if you don't think it's canon, but the IDW comics, like, the relationship between Sonic and Amy is so healthy. They just click so well together. I just love watching them interact, you know? And so, you know, I wasn't really able to ship Son Amy just because I thought Sonic deserved better back when I was, you know, still kind of early into my love for Sonic. But, you know, looking at it now, I think they would be adorable together, and I really hope they give us some great Son Amy content in Frontiers. And Amy, I'm sorry I misjudged you. You're amazing, you're sweet, and everyone loves you.
Thanks, Sean. Go sub to him, y'all. He's amazing. Such a talented voice actor that deserves more recognition. Anyways, I would like to get into Son Amy as a ship. Son Amy. You cannot talk about Amy without mentioning Son Amy. These two go way back. Son Amy as a shipping is very controversial and has caused shipping wars. I feel like the fandom can be very toxic and ultimately it draws people away from the ship. So far, I've only ever had pleasant experiences with the fandom, and I have found people that I can share my love with. This just begs the question if Sonic should be with Amy. My answer? I really can't see him with anyone else. If Sonic decided he wanted to settle down in a relationship, I feel like 100% it would be Amy. It's not officially canon, but I feel that Sega ships them. I mean, the original creator, Naito Oshima, ships them. Sega knows the fanbase loves Son Amy, so they will occasionally deliver with fan service. Evan Stanley, artist of the IDW comics, has said herself that Sonic does like Amy. We just don't know if it'll ever be canon. Would I want it to be canon? Well...
The answer is yes and no.
Let me explain. As much as I love the ship and love seeing them together, I don't want them to be canon because it will cause a rift in the fandom. I say leave Son Amy to the fans so it doesn't complicate things in the main canon. I feel if Sonic were to pursue something with Amy, fans would be pissed because they either hate the pairing or don't want Sonic to settle down. As a fan, I completely understand this because if Sonic were to get together with Amy, the trait of him being independent would go away. With that being said, I feel like it would be a welcome change, but with this fandom, you never know how they will react. If I was Sega, I would just play it safe and not have them as a couple. Just leave them to the fans. So, what is my point here? Amy Rose is one of the most misunderstood characters in the series and deserves better. Now that I think about it, a lot of characters do. I really think Sega should just focus on our core four, Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles, before others like Blaze and Silver. I hope Amy will get the character development that she deserves, and that she will get redemption as well. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and feel free to give me your thoughts on Amy. Please be respectful when you do. As always, I will see you in the next video. Peace, gamers!